with Thorpe Park having just permanently closed one of their oldest rides, Rumba Rapids. And considering the ride looks a little bit like it's been closed for 6 years already, and it's been boarded up with these lovely blue construction walls, surely this, if anywhere, will be the spot for a brand new roller coaster at the park. Well, that's what we're going to be discussing today. In an unrealistic world, if Thorpe Park decided not to leave Rumba Rapids to rot for 10 years, could this be the spot for their next big roller coaster? And what could that coaster be? How tall might it go? Will it span across not one, but 2 different islands? But I thought Thorpe Park was an island. With my own minuscule brain and some of your guys' help, we're gonna delve deep into answering those questions in this video. So be sure to watch till the end so you don't miss anything, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we've hit 150,000 subscribers now, which I am so grateful for. And it's crazy to even say this, but I guess the next milestone is 200k. So once again, a huge thank you for all of the support recently. It means the world, and if you haven't subscribed yet, any help towards that next goal would be greatly appreciated. Either way, to start this video where we speculate about what's coming in the future, we need to resonate and reconsolidate with the past. So time for a history lesson. Rumba Rapids was a river rapids ride manufactured by the same people that made Stealth, Colossus, and even the Wave at Drayton Manor. No, it is not a B&M, even though it looks exactly like one at first glance. Intamin created it, and it opened as Thunder River in 1987. Since then, being open to the public as a lovely, family-friendly, barely soaking, water ride that was just in the corner of the park. It became Ribena Rumba Rapids in 2002, which was 2 years before I even existed, which is crazy, and then became just Rumba Rapids. The Ribena put down the drain in 2007, and then later down the line it got a new soundtrack that was way less vibey than the last. And then we get to 2026 and it's been officially announced to close forever. And that was announced before the new season had even begun. Damn, I thought theme parks never announced a ride closure before anyone's had a last chance to ride it. But with Rumba Rapids now being closed, walls being put up all around it, the trough itself looking green and murky as hell, a boat being stuck with some tape stringed around it, and even a placard outside commemorating and mourning the death of Rumba Rapids. The land in which it resided on now lays vacant, which can only mean one thing. No, we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. We need to talk about that later. We can close the history book and now speak about the speculation. It's speculation time. Why did my voice echo? Where we can start to look at what ride might be replacing Rumba Rapids in the future. But the speculation can be about before the roller coaster or ride's even built, before any footers are in the ground, because we can debate whether or not Thorpe Park will actually leave Rumba Rapids for about 5 to 6 years, rotting with absolutely no construction happening whatsoever. And the short answer to that is they probably will leave it for that long if Universal Studios UK wasn't on the rise. Because as much as I think there are no plans currently to do anything specific in that area, with the upcoming rise of that new Universal theme park in Bedford, I think that's going to be a massive rival to Merlin and Thorpe Park. To get a statement roller coaster in there, another one alongside Hyperia, hopefully this one's a bit longer this time, would be very good for the park. And they did actually share a statement when they first closed Rumba Rapids, stating, while we don't have plans to share just yet on what's next, we're always reviewing our lineup of world-class rides and attractions to make sure Thorpe Park remains the UK's most thrilling theme park. And that literally backs up my point. They want to stay the most thrilling theme park. They want to have the best and the biggest rides in the UK. Why wouldn't they plan a big roller coaster for this area? And they say they can't share anything yet. I don't think there is much to share, but hopefully there is. And in the next few years, we might see something go up. So when they do eventually decide to build something here, will it be a family or thrill edition? I think it's pretty obvious going by their statement that it's going to be a kids coaster. Flying Fish Reborn. No, it's obviously going to be a thrill coaster of some kind. It could be taller than Stealth, but maybe not as tall as Hyperia, have similar aspects, maybe some more airtime rather than inversion based, but then they could go onto an inversion based coaster, but they have Colossus, so what's the point? I think we'll see a big thrill coaster layout. There is the question as well of whether or not this could be a water ride or a dark ride. The dark ride suggestion, I don't think it'll be that at all. And a water ride, they could do something, but again, they'd have to try and beat Tidal Wave. And unless they get another Intamin River Rapids, I just don't think it's something that they'd look into. Because the land that Rumba Rapids sits on is huge, and they could even use a separate island that is already free to make some huge ride over the two. Let's get the map out and have a look at this area. That's Alton Towers. But if you did join those two lands together, that island is huge. If you've ever been on the Swarm and you come around that final corner, that island is massive. So that plus the Rumba Rapids area could make for some big coaster. Or coasters plural. And there's even the concept of it actually going behind Nemesis Inferno this time and running down all the way along to where Old Town used to be, or where Fearless Valley is, where nothing valleys other than the coaster itself. But with that area in question, what could they build? I mean, we've spoken about all these different types of rides. Are they even realistic options? Well, some of them that you might not think are realistic actually could be. And I'm going to explain why now. Starting with the highly speculated for what feels like 10 years now, an RMC coming to Thorpe Park. If you don't know what an RMC is, it's basically a wooden and steel hybrid coaster that can go upside down and have so much airtime, and they're very highly rated amongst theme park enthusiasts, including myself, where I'm pretty sure 3 of them are in my top 10. And ages ago, there was this whole rumor about RMC 2020 to the point where Thorpe Park even put it in one of their scare mazes, and someone went to the point of literal vandalism to put RMC 2020 into a tree. And everyone thought, oh, it's just a joke, like, oh, it's never going to happen. There is actually somewhat of a possibility, because according to higher-ups who were actually involved in creating Hyperia, some of the other manufacturers that did put in a concept that were considered for that area, one of them was actually RMC. So, you never know. If RMC were given the Rumba Rapids land and made that good of a layout and Thorpe thought, oh, hang on a minute, that could be good, there is a chance they could go for it, although I would be worried whether or not Thorpe Park would upkeep that Woody well enough, because there's quite a few rides at that park now that are getting a little bit rough. As much as that coaster type is a little bit cheaper than most, I don't know if that's their primary option for this land. Although a lot of you guys still think it is. Thorpe Park RMC 2020 on the back of Swarm Island, it's still happening. I said about what's replacing Rumba Rapids, not Swarm Island. An RMC called Rumbling Rapids. That might be the first roller coaster ever with rapids in the name. It could be an RMC water hybrid. An RMC single rail, that would be cool. Those things are quite bad for capacity. RMC is not happening, man. So if that's not happening, let's move on to another wooden coaster type, a GCI wooden coaster. I feel like Thorpe could use one as a good family thrill coaster. I think a GCI would go down well after the success of Vekoma in 2018, could be a big GCI like Troy or Woden. I didn't actually have a GCI wooden roller coaster on my list. That is literally just sort of a ground up actual wooden coaster. No steel involved. And I would love to see that, but I do think that goes back to the point of upkeeping it, because I don't know how well Thorpe would upkeep a wooden coaster. But they could go for a B&M roller coaster. The park itself have worked with B&M for many years, of course, Nemesis Inferno, the Swarm. Oh, that's it, isn't it? And if Thorpe continues to be owned by Merlin, then they have a good track record with B&M. So much so that that other manufacturer other than Mack Rides and RMC that actually consulted for Hyperia was actually B&M, because there was a whole hypercoaster model and it was filled with airtime. That could really work in that sort of space, going down Nemesis Inferno's type way, and obviously that would then span back to Rumba Rapids' area. But is that too samey to what they've just done with Hyperia? More focused on that airtime. It's a little bit more floaty if they were to do a hypercoaster. Well, I don't know if they'd go for that option, but they could go for anything else that B&M offer, and it would be a slightly cheaper option than some of the others that I'm going to talk about, although it'd also be a little bit more rough and rattly, to the point where I've actually scrolled through quite a lot of your guys' comments and I literally haven't seen a single B&M one. Oh, a B&M surf roller coaster. A little bit different, that one. I don't know, maybe a B&M isn't the best option. But what if they stuck with Mack Rides that built Hyperia and build another extreme roller coaster, such as an extreme spinning coaster? It would be very different to anything else they have in their lineup, and of course it would be a completely different experience to absolutely any coaster in the UK. Going upside down while spinning, and obviously launches as well, it would just make for such a unique ride. And as much as Mack Rides are very expensive, and they have shown a few reliability issues, such as with Hyperia shutting for multiple 3-4 weeks the day after it opened. If they took a little bit less risk with the layout and went for that more bog standard Mack Extreme Spinner launch version and just made this insane layout with inversions and everything, it would make for such a good coaster. Or they could even go the Stardust Racers route and just make a launch coaster, maybe a bit more intense than the likes of Icon. And I would love to see that because I think Thorpe really do need a multi-launch coaster. Mack Rides could also build 15 more copies of Flying Fish. We need some more real thrill rides at Thorpe. We'll leave the talk about Mack there and move on to the coaster that I would most like to see come to the place of Rumba Rapids. An Intamin multi-launch roller coaster, much like Tiger at Linnamaki or even Velocicoaster at Universal Orlando. Those rides are just the perfect level of thrill. You've got those launches which can be super fast, up to like 70 miles an hour. They don't go insanely tall and they literally can do whatever they want them to. More airtime, more inversions, whatever you want. I'm sure Intamin would do it. Heck, they made Velocicoaster do a 50-mile-an-hour roll over some water. The only rollover we have at Thorpe Park is the hot dogs, and I think Thorpe Park would really benefit from some coaster like that. And it has been a rumor. No idea where from. Everyone online seems to think that this Intamin Blitz is confirmed for that land, and if it is a true rumor, then I'll take it. The Intamin Blitz rumor makes a lot of sense. Not a stupid tall one though, like 150 foot max. Definitely agree with that one. A low to the ground one would be way better in my opinion. Or you never know, they might have the money to build a Falcon's Flight clone. We'll leave the Intamin discussion there as well. There was a lot of conversation in the comments though about what this new ride could be, and one of my favorite ones that I came across was the Vekoma tilt coaster. And as much as the poll itself, RMC clearly won that, I actually think I'd love to see a Vekoma tilt come to the park. The Vekoma tilt coasters are apparently smooth as butter, very intense, and they've got so many different elements that are really, really fun. And it'd be a really good marketing ploy from Merlin because, you know, they love their world's firsts. And as much as this wouldn't be a world's first, it would be Europe's first and easily the UK's first. And also it would look very cool on the skyline between Nemesis Inferno and Stealth. Just this really short roller coaster that suddenly just turns massive when it starts going like that. After seeing that suggestion, I genuinely think that is one of the best ideas that they could do in that area, but my heart still sticks with the Intamin multi-launch idea, although I would take absolutely any of these. Please, Thorpe Park, build one of these. What would you build in Rumba Rapids space if you could? Leave it in the comments below and get thinking, because I'm going to be doing a Planet Coaster 2 competition regarding this area of land later this year, so keep your eyes peeled and keep your Rumbas Rapids. Leave a like for more and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. See you next time.